Hi guys, welcome to another episode with Sweet Pitaya, where we cook, create, and enjoy life. Before we start, we're gonna make sure to have a wet towel underneath the cutting board so it doesn't move as we start cutting. So this is only for safety reasons. I'm going to be using a butternut squash, but there are other varieties of squash that can also do the job, and that tastes really good actually. For this soup, I'm gonna be removing the skin of the squash, which you don't really need to because you can roast the whole squash, just cut in half. But I like to peel it and cut it in little squares to cook fast. And because the seeds are edible, I'm gonna save them and probably roast them in the oven. Well, and the word squash in the original language means eaten raw, which we're not gonna do, of course. Once I peel all the squash, I'm gonna start cutting. I'm going to be cutting the squash in squares that are even in size, and the reason for this is so they can cook even, and so you don't have some that are still raw and others that are cooked. Okay, so once we are done with all the cutting, we're gonna start seasoning. But first, we're gonna need a baking sheet with some parchment paper on top and put it aside. I'm going to be using some avocado oil and some garlic powder, salt, and paprika. And we're gonna drizzle some of the oil on the butternut squash, and add some salt, some paprika, and the garlic powder. I'm not really measuring as I'm going right here, but it's about 1 tablespoon of each. Mix it really well so they're all completely coated in everything. Then put them on the tray, and you can always use different herbs and spices for this recipe. I'm just doing this the way I like to make it, so you can always try different stuff. Well, I actually love garlic, so I'm gonna add some fresh garlic. And I'm also adding some onion. I also love onion, so you don't have to do this. This is just for my preference. Once everything's ready, you have the garlic, the onion, and the squash all seasoned. You're gonna bake at 360 for 30 minutes at least, or you can keep checking. Once everything's golden and soft, it's ready to be blended. Here I'm gonna start blending the roasted squash and the onions and the garlic. I added water. You can always add chicken stock or vegetable stock, whatever you prefer. In this blender, the Instant Pot, you can actually make the soup directly on the blender, but today I'm gonna be making it on the stove. And here I'm adding some chicken bouillon, some cream, and you can always add heavy cream, but I didn't have, so I'm gonna be using this one, which is very similar. Keep stirring the soup because it can stick to the bottom. One way to check your soup is Stir the soup with a spoon, then trace a line across the back of the spoon with your finger. If the line remains visible, that means that the sauce is thick enough, or the soup. And if it doesn't, you can always cook for a little bit longer. Once it's done, I'm just gonna garnish with some cream, some pumpkin seeds, and some olive oil, and it should be ready to enjoy. And because this was probably one of the last days of chilly weather here in Phoenix, this soup was amazing. And it's also very delicious and filling at the same time. Well, thank you for watching this. I hope you guys can give this a try, and don't forget to cook, create, and enjoy life. See you next time!